start with team news? Do you expect to make any changes for this semi-final?
Well, I think the team has been doing well, but it all depends on the strip that we are getting and what plans that we have in mind for Australia, because we've already played them in the league. And depending on the strategies that we plan is what the combination would be.
But no injuries that are affecting your plans?
There's no injuries as such, which of course not the main players or the players that we're considering in the 11.
You mentioned there about playing Australia in the group stages. That ended in defeat. Will that play on your mind? Have you learnt anything from that match?
Well, every loss gives us an opportunity to reflect on what things that we can do better in the next game. And tomorrow's game we do have things that we will definitely look into, those aspects that we could not do well on that day, and also for the fact that tomorrow is that one game that we need to pull off to get into the finals. Obviously Australia is a very good side. They're defending champions and a team that has been doing very well. To win against them requires us to give us more than that we have been playing so far. Even the game against New Zealand, the team has been absolutely spot on to the plans that we worked. But again, against Australia, it's important that we need to be the best that we can as players to perform. And because if you have to replace the number one side, you have to be more than them to be there.
If you look at your overall record against them, obviously it isn't good, but does that concern you coming into a game? You mentioned this is a one-off game, isn't it?
See, well, obviously that definitely will not play on our mind, because again, having said, we did beat Australia in Australia, one-odd game again. So it could be that one-odd game tomorrow that we are looking at, yeah.
In terms of the final, if you do make it, you'll be playing England. What have you made to them since that defeat against them on the opening match?
Well, I guess that is something that we will look into after tomorrow's game.
Mithali, after the Australia fixture last week, you were pretty forceful, saying that over your whole career you've not had enough support when you failed, that the team doesn't have the stocks or supplies to replace you. What makes things different tomorrow in another big game where you've been let down in the past?
Tomorrow, obviously that the other batters are in form now for us, like Harman is among runs, Veda, Krishnamurti has scored runs. So that's a very positive thing for us playing New Zealand, where these two batters in the middle order have runs backing them. So we do have now, at least in the top 4-5, we have 3-4 batters who are among runs. So it will not be something that I will be, kind of a shackled, but probably I would play better tomorrow, because I'm confident that now I have batters who are among runs, who are coming after me. So there's still possibility that they have the ability to take the team along.
So your starting point won't be to play conservatively like it was last week?
Probably yes, because it's a different conditions also. The wicket seems to be very good to what it was in Bristol, and Bristol wicket was definitely had a lot of moisture, and probably that's why Australians took to bowl first after winning the toss in that game, and losing that wicket, losing Smriti in the second over itself puts a lot of pressure on us to get going on a wicket which is a drying wicket.
Mithali, your fifth visit to Derby, Australia yet to play here, you're undefeated here. Do you feel like you have a bit of a home ground advantage at this ground?
Well, I think probably, yeah, in some factors, yes, we know the wicket conditions and we know the outfield. But again, it's how the team responds to the situation on that given day, and how the opposition will perform is also something that we would consider. Having home advantage is good, but again, it is a small factor playing against the best side.
Finally, the match against New Zealand was a must-win game for you to get to this stage. How much do your team take from that in terms of confidence? Because I think you suggested after the Australia game that there was often the Indian side struggle in must-win matches.
Well, the team looks far confident today to what it was earlier in the nets today, because usually, as I've told earlier also, that Indian team, especially when we start off well in the World Cups, we after a couple of defeats, we normally don't tend to come back into the tournament again. But seeing the team respond to that challenge against New Zealand was heartwarming, and I'm sure the team will put better performance tomorrow. In fact, they should be able to do far better than what we did against New Zealand.
Have you identified any weaknesses, Mitali, in this Australian team that you might be able to target?
Do you want me to say that over in the press so that it goes to them? But but I think that's something that we would want to discuss with the team, within the team. But obviously, even the best sides will have some loopholes that we're planning to plug. Yeah.
Then does it help coming into the game, playing against the tournament favourites, and you can take the underdog tag and play more freely?
Yeah, I can say that because this team now, our first aim was to play the semi-finals, and we've done well in the match. That was very crucial for us. Playing Australia again, I would say this team is capable of putting up the best performance. It's just a matter of playing as a unit and not taking or not burdening yourself with the occasion. But if the girls play to their potential, there is a higher possibility of getting us into the finals.
No matter what happens tomorrow, it's after 7 years that India is playing a semi-final, and this team is pretty much the core of the future. You think going out of this tournament, no matter what happens tomorrow, this will only change dynamics and change how they think as players?
Yes, because once the girls display something that they've not been used to playing that way, so it gives a lot of it gives them a lot of confidence that even they are capable of doing. And obviously after 7 years that we are playing the semi-finals, so there are a few youngsters who are very talented, like Smriti and Deepti, who have a long way to go. And no matter, as you mentioned, no matter the result in tomorrow's game, I guess these girls will be more confident to play whenever they start playing the ICC Championship games. And it will not be easy for the other teams now, because this Indian team looks far better, more confident, more talented bunch of players than what I have seen earlier.
And after that innings from Veda, do you think she has gained attention from BBL and KSL teams?
Well, I think she played very well even in Australia T20, and but I don't know for what reason she didn't get a call. But I'm sure they, not only Veda, but there should be more girls playing WBBL, because it gives them more exposure, and it will only enhance the competitive or healthy competition within the team, so that the girls can improve their standard.
In that respect, India not yet having a tournament like that, it almost seems, does it play to an advantage? Because Harman and Smriti have spent the Australian summer there. They've had a look at pretty much all the Australian players, which is the Australians don't have the similar opportunity to do that in an Indian league.
Well, yeah, I mean, it has its own advantages and disadvantages, but again, in this platform, irrespective of knowing a player, it is important how well you execute the plan that you choose to display. And it is also important that when we know that Harman and Smriti have already been part of WBBL, so most of our meetings are asking them how to plan for these players. So having said that, again, it is on that day how the bowlers and the batters develop that momentum to which will eventually benefit the result of the team.
Long time ago with the 2005 World Cup semi-final, where you were the underdog and had a wonderful victory against New Zealand, you made big runs that day. Can you take much from that, knowing that you've got that inside of you personally, the ability to turn it on in a big game as the underdog?
Well, I think it's way back in 2005, but I think it's just not me, but there are other players in the side who are capable of playing the main role when required, and it can only give me more confidence to play, or probably play a little with more freedom, because now knowing the fact that there are players who can turn things around, and it's just I'm also in that same frame of mind that it is just one game and if the girls really perform to the way that they're capable of, it could result in the same result that way back in 2005. Probably the opposition is different, but yeah, there is more possibility.
Was that the best moment of your career, winning that game in 2005, personally and from a team perspective?
Well, I would say it's one of my best innings, and of course, since it was the World Cup, it gets that tag. But there have been numerous innings that I would still rate, which will come into my best innings, because just a matter of situation where from nowhere we pull the match through is what I consider my best innings, irrespective of the platform that it is in, because these are the matches which gives you more confidence as a player to further your career or get into different innings as a batter.
Mitali, now that you're almost through the tournament, have you noticed a massive difference in the support from India, with so many games being televised and so much more publicity about it? Has that been something that's been very notable for you compared to previous tournaments?
Yes, because a lot of men cricketers now are more forthcoming in voicing the support to women's cricket, and it's just not for a couple of players, but for the entire team. And it really helps and motivates the other girls, the young girls who really look up to them as their role models. When you hear them talk and motivate and inspire these girls, it really helps the team, and they don't feel inferior anymore now, because these girls also know that they are on the same platform, on par with the men cricketers now, because the whole world appreciates the brand of cricket that all the women's team has represented in this tournament.
Last question now, if there's any more.
Do you allow yourself to look forward to the final? The ICC have come out and said that 27,000 tickets have been sold. It's sold out. If you do happen to get over Australia, is that an exciting prospect for you to play in front
Well,
of
I would love to be, part of that atmosphere, and it tempts me. But I also realize that tomorrow's is the game that can actually get us there, and it gets me back into now that we have Australia to play.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.